We live in a society where men are often blamed by women for all of women's problems. Whether it's the patriarch, our lack of emotional intelligence, not being wealthy enough, being too deep, or being accused of mansplaining. If we're not actively pushing feminism, we're considered toxic. We're even told we shouldn't advise other men not to be simps because it's not our business. Despite this, it's perfectly acceptable for women to compare notes and advise each other about men without any quarrels from men. When relationships and marriages fail, it's often the man's fault. And when parenting is ruined by separation, men are blamed again. I hear women blame men every day, but it's rare to hear them accept their own role in causing the problems. This pattern of blaming men as a gender for all problems leads to a general hatred of men. We're often labeled as toxic, narcissists, pigs, dogs, or subjected to other insulting language. Women often share their anecdotal stories about their relationships or dates on TikTok without considering the man's family, friends, employer, co-workers, or employees might be the viewers. This shows a lack of empathy. I'm one of the men who have checked out because I don't trust women anymore. But I have a 17-year-old son, so I have to prepare him for the nature of the beast that women have become in these modern times.
They're just using you to feel like a man in the patriarchy.
Man, you could tell these women do not believe in the Bible. They may even be more comedic than Christian. They attack the patriarch, but that's a part of the Bible. There's an order, but they refuse to accept that.
You are actively enabling their subpar role. And these men are just holding these women accountable to this patriarchal role that's in fact driving them crazy or making them feel spiritually oppressed. Their femininity is also oppressed. And then those men, while they might be benefiting from these women in that oppressive role, these men are also a slave to societal roles. The very role that they feel that they're not really living up to entirely.
No, I think men are quite fine with the role God put us here to play. We're the leaders, we're the providers, protectors, the leader of the household. It's you, the women, who are not fine with the role God put you here to be the helpmeet. That's where the issue is. And then you try to gaslight and say that we're not happy with our position. This is what feminism has taught the modern women.
But you know what makes them feel good? Having a woman by their side, supporting them nonetheless.
I'm not sure what your problem is.
Those two people, them dynamics, they seem like they're meant for each other, but it's really like a socially constructed karmic relationship.
Bullshit.
I mean, it just don't stop. This is another woman who believes it's not biology or nature, it's some type of social construct, which is nonsense. This is not something that man invented. It's nature.
And a lot of the women that have emancipated themselves from this very quintessential patriarchal homemaker 1920s basic women ain't have a right to like work type of role, the women that have managed to escape that are the ones that have realized that they were also enabling these men. Some of the men that have also chosen to separate from these dynamics have also chosen to evolve and think about what life looks like without needing to depend on women to feel like a man. To feel like a man. These men here, they understand in a grander scheme how the social construct really oppresses them too. It's them realizing that their masculinity and what they thought of what it means to be a man doesn't have to revolve around the role of a woman. It's women realizing that they need to too decenter men because they're also a part of the problem. When you enable men to kind of oppress you, carrying that pick-me mentality and then getting mad when men just also abuse you back.
So according to her, men and women should be separated and live happily ever after. That's how true happiness is gained by both genders being separated. Am I missing something?
Or just hold you accountable to your own oppression, the oppressive role that you're choosing. Look, all I know is that this is a thing, and we keep seeing this play out. Y'all let me know when y'all tired and y'all done, okay? That's it.
I can't debate with a man that gets upset because a female wants him to have his life together before he gets in a relationship. If you don't have your life together, you should not be looking for a partner. You should not be looking to struggle with a partner.
First of all, it's not no struggle love or no struggle relationship. It's called building. They refuse to want to build with a man, and they call him dusty, and they not building a man and all this other nonsense. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disagreeing with what she's saying, but women think men who make the median average income in this country is not good enough either. They believe they're building or struggling with them too. And then on the other hand, what are you bringing? I mean, are you just coming as you are, or are you bringing something to the table? Then they get offended by you asking them what are they bringing. So they can just sit there and do nothing, and they want you to do everything in order to bring them in. How fair is that?
We don't want to marry you guys anymore. You all are a liability. We are earning more than you. We are higher educated than you. We don't need to be married to own property anymore.
I think marriage is to the advantage of the person who makes the least, because then if it don't work out, you'll be entitled to half of the person who makes the most money. And women get this too, and they don't want to deal with that shit. And then you hear men say, well, just get a prenup, but there's a few clauses that invalidates a prenup, and it can't be one-sided. You're eventually gonna give your wife something if the marriage doesn't work out. On top of that, prenups do not cover child support. So if you have children, you're gonna have to pay child support.
Or a credit card. Nobody benefits from breaking your vows. It's just you can't demolish someone in court over things like infidelity. Be fucking for real. Jeez.
Okay, so here's the hypocrisy. Which one is it? Are you outdoing men because you're making more than us, you're better educated, and you're owning more properties? Or is there a wage gap that you constantly put in our face in the media, saying that you're not paid equally to men? Which one is it? Because I see you being a hypocrite.
I just saw a TikTok of a woman saying, like, she don't want no deep man. She's like, I don't want no deep man, because deep men are always pondering out in the stars, never making no bread. But the thing is they need to be out making bread so I could be pondering out in the stars.
Yeah, that was dumb. Stupid.
Here's another one, taking something that's small and making it into an issue. And this should not be an issue. They always have to tell you something you're not doing. Something you're not doing right.
So somebody had commented saying deep men are always searching but never doing nothing, and heavy on it. Every time I've met a deep man, they just spending so much time asking questions and trying to challenge the deepness, but then when it comes down to the nitty gritty, they're not knitting and they're not grittying. You understand? Enough. Get to the facts of life. Go to work. Okay? Do that. Stop thinking.
What type of remedial is this? Now, if you're intellectual or you're being intelligent, that means you're not capable of working, or you're not working. You're just spending all of your time doing research. These women open up their mouth and you just hear the foolishness fall out. They find any reason to say you're not good enough. It just don't stop. They continue to pinpoint small things to make it seem like you're not good enough. I mean, I don't have to say nothing. You could just see it for yourself.
Yeah, these men are out there wanting us to marry them so we can have someone to take the trash out. But also there's a lot of women on TikTok also talking about weaponized incompetence and how so many women who are in committed relationships, living with a man, married, whatever, you know, the constant arguments over who's going to share the work, and they say, well, and I say, no, it's actually a power play. You know, when they do this weaponized incompetence, you know, even if there's no work to be done, they'll still do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna save you the headache of listening to her rant. What she was saying was she became wealthy and she didn't need to cook or clean because she hired a maid, and she really didn't need her husband for anything because she became wealthy. She just would ask him to do a few things and he still wouldn't do it. Now I could just tell by her demeanor she probably was a bossy ass bitch, and he probably got sick of it. She probably thought she was too good for him and she was treating him like trash, and then when he didn't accept her treating him like trash, she didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. Let's see why she got a divorce.
For instance, if he was coming home before me and we needed dog food, I'd say, oh, can you pick up dog food? Now he knew what kind of dog food the dogs needed. It was a good dog food. I'd say, could you go to the pet store and pick up this dog food? He'd say, okay. And then he would get home and he had picked up a dog food that they don't eat. A cheap dog food from the supermarket that if I give it to them, they're going to get sick. And I would say that you can't do that, you know? And I literally was in the middle of my kitchen and I said to him, that's it. It's over. I'm divorcing you. It was actually because of the dog food issue. This had happened like 12 times where I was like, please, I am just trying to tell you, if you can't pick up the correct dog food, just text me and let me know and we'll figure it out, because you buying this cheap dog food is not helping. I can't use it. These men, they literally do it to screw with you, and they do it to maintain their power in the relationship. It doesn't matter. You can have all the money in the world. They will find the tiny little thing to screw with you. And that's what I understood. That's why I was like, you know what? Ciao. I'm done. And I've got to say, it was 10 years ago, July 2012. Never been happier. This has been the happiest decade of my life. Happiest, most successful, richest decade. And also, I look better than I did 10 years ago because I wasn't miserable and upset all the time.
Okay, Miss Hit the Wall. I mean, some of y'all like mature women. That's you. But she divorced her husband over some dog food. Thank you, Ronald Reagan, for the no-fault divorce, because women are able to do things like this. Divorce their husband over nonsense.
I've been going on these dates, right? Torturing myself, of course. I keep running across this particular type of guy, right? He's scared of every fucking thing. He's scared to fly. He's scared to go out the country. He's scared to get on anything that moves. He's scared to go in the wrong neighborhood. He's scared when he's in the right neighborhood. I mean, honestly, he's scared of every fucking thing.
It seemed like to me you caught yourself a beta.
He hasn't really lived life too much. Pretty much stays in his own box. So he does his work out, and maybe goes to a few restaurants, watches a few movies, or whatever.
Here's another one who's just out there to criticize men for being men. All he do is work. All he do is go to the gym. All he do is come home and watch Netflix and relax, and that's all he's good for. He's good for nothing, pretty much, in her eyes. And then she's making a narrative of this is a sort of type of man when it's just the one that she dated. Beta. Keep it to the one that you dated. You haven't dated every man. So you can't sit up there and assume that this is a whole group of men that are like this. But she's trying to paint that narrative, and she's putting it on TikTok for other people to accept it as being true.
Now, this man wants a wife. This type of man is particularly out there dating hard body. And my question is, what is the definition of manhood, or like what differentiates you from being me besides owning a penis or a vagina? And that is still relative as we know it.
Bullshit.
So what if you are the bitch, then who the fuck, what role am I supposed to play?
Few things about her. This chick is probably used to Pookies and Ray Rays. That's one. Another thing, if you put your hands on her, she'll call the cops. You'll be arrested for domestic violence. She look like the type that may take you there. And then you'll be putting yourself in a bad situation because she want to be masculine. She definitely looked like a shit tester. If she never saw you angry before, she'll do something to make you mad just to see how you would react. This is definitely the type of woman we all should avoid.
One thing about me, boo, if my son does something wrong, I'ma stand behind his girl. If he cheats on her, abuses her in any type of way, I'ma hold him down while she go at him. Because at the bottom line is, I didn't raise no fool. I didn't raise you to be acting a fool out in these streets. I did not raise you to be a cheater. I did not raise you to put your hands on women. I did not raise you to call your girl out her name. I didn't raise you to be ghosting her. I didn't raise you to be doing none of that stuff.
Sounds to me like she want to take out her unhealed trauma and project it on her son.
So disrespecting her is disrespecting me.
That's it.
Trust me, he ain't got a friend in me. Never that.
Whoa! Wow! What?
Because at the bottom line is, I'm a woman first before I'm anybody's mother. So with that being said, if I have a son one day and he disrespects women, I'm going to boss up on him and we going to tag team him together. Sis, let me know. You want to jump in? Like, what you want to do?
Public service announcement for all the men out there. Please, if you ever see this chick out and about, don't get with her indefinitely. Don't give her no children. She's going to ruin her son and her daughter with the way she's thinking.
It's up to you, sis, because you're the one that got offended. Okay, so I don't know. I don't like those moms that be like, oh, well, y'all can still work it out. Man, your son is a liar, a cheater, abuser, and he's irresponsible with money, and he stank. So, you know, I just don't like that. I will never stand beside my son if he did something wrong. Like, no. He getting a whooping. I don't care if he 35, 45, 55. He getting a whooping. Because I ain't raised him to be like that. And y'all can hate on me if you want to, but at the end of the day, I will never be my son's friend. And I will never say, you know, my son is my man. He didn't do nothing wrong. Yes, he did. I believe you too. I believe you. We about to fix it real quick.
This reminds me of Boys in the Hood with Doughboy and his mom and how he resembled his father so much that she didn't like him. And he became a murderer. So in the matriarch of the ghetto, this is what's happening in our neighborhoods. The women are the single moms raising the sons, and they out here wilding. So the father needs to be in the picture. Are we gonna have mothers like this raising the boys, and they're gonna be out here wilding out? And we don't need any more of that.